good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
What's greetings, Earthlings? What up? What up? What up?
Man,
Strings
just,
attached.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
they're connected to our
salute. See you later.
that's crazy what he did. He took
I
the
take
military
great
out
joy
before he
waking
took the
up
civilians.
every
Who
morning
does that?
and seeing the Lakers
under
score.
his watch.
What has he done about police reform in this country? Nothing.
Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to Unsolicited Genius. I am your curator, Carlton, and I am with the proponent of the people, Mo Lotfi, and Mr. Deeper Than the Page of a Book, Let Me Look, Craig Lindo. On today's show, we will talk about the status of our democracy, the NBA playoffs, and the two princes of Bel Air. We hope to give you something to ponder. Wherever we are, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, like if it's something to be liked, subscribe if it's something to be subscribed to, and follow. That's how we grow our reach. It's how we grow our brand. What's going on, Mo? What's going on, Craig? What's happening?
What's going on, my brothers? How are you?
Healthy and happy, bro. How y'all doing, man?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain. Watching this Celtics game.
What they looking like, 79-60? That's what I see on my screen. So it flip-flop. Milwaukee blew them out last time. It looked like the Celtics.
No, the last game was a good game. The last game was a close game, yeah.
Not Milwaukee Celtics. I thought it was a given.
No, it was a good game.
No, I kind of remember that score being kind of deep, wasn't it? Kind of
It was a real good game, actually.
Nah, Milwaukee Boston, game one.
Game one.
It's a lot of games. One of us remembering wrong, but we'll come back to it. Needless to say, we've been gone for a minute. I missed y'all boys.
Miss you too, man.
What y'all been up to? I was out in LA. I went to the Tupac Museum or Tupac exhibit. So that's where I've been partially on our break. But what's up with you all?
Nothing, man. Just working, closing out the school year and just chilling with the family, man. About to go to a wedding this weekend in Virginia. Shout out to my boy Nick, baby Gucci, finally tying the knot. Excited to see it. Very happy for him.
Clap, clap.
by doing the same thing. School year about to wrap, but on a better note, I got to see Charlie Wilson and New Edition in concert. It was the last date of the culture tour. I'm a little salty that I missed Jodeci. I didn't realize that Jodeci would be the opener, and I missed the opener. I missed Jodeci, and I'm heavy on the Jodeci, so there's a little bit of salt about that, but I'll make up for it some other time. But I was glad to see the show. It was a really good show, and but if I had to compare the two performers I saw, Uncle Charlie showed his butt. Boy, he made them young boys look crazy.
I've seen him it's been a few years, give or take 10 years, but I have seen him live, and he puts on a great show.
I saw the same concert, man. And first of all, New Edition is not, I wouldn't refer to them as them young boys anymore. Charlie, man, Charlie put on a show, but Charlie, like Craig said, Charlie old, man. Like when I saw Charlie was talking about he just had surgery. It looked rough, man. It looked like he was struggling. I'm not gonna lie to you boys.
He got the voices there no matter what.
He was playing a lot of songs.
Effort.
Did he do this with you, Craig? He was covering other people's songs when we were there.
Well, that's because he wrote most of those.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, I saw that. I noticed
the biggest struggle I saw, the biggest struggles I saw came from Bobby Brown and Johnny Gill. The rest of New Edition looked like they could get up and play 4-on-4 and go play some ball. Boy,
struggles like what? Like knees,
like
or
in moving,
voice?
Man. Because Johnny
the
Gill
choreography. They were taking frequent breaks.
Oh,
Bobby Brown looked like he spent 20 years of his life doing cocaine. So, but what I'll say about Bobby Brown, man, he just has a swag about him, man. Like, he just has an aura about him, even at this age when he's on the stage. There's something about, like, when it's Bobby's turn to grab the mic and he gets out there and just does his thing.
Yeah, the king.
They
of
compensate
R&B.
for him too. They know he can't move, so they've
Yeah.
designed the whole set so like they can move where Bobby doesn't have to move, and it
They
still looks
designed
smooth.
breaks. Yeah. When it was all 6 of them, he was kind of staggered to the back, that kind of thing.
Man, the rest of them
Had him in
boys
the
look
zone,
good,
had him in the
man.
zone.
The rest of them boys look good. Ralph looked still small ass Ralph with the pretty soft voice.
Yeah.
It's a good show, man. It was really a good show.
All right. Well, cool. I'm kind on the performers from our '90s era, because Father Time comes for us all. So I try to support and be kind, regardless of how they perform, because I've seen my share of bands over the last few years, and it made me want to go to the gym sometimes. All right, so before we jump into headlines, it is so much to talk about. We have been gone for a little while. What top is on you all's mind tonight? Start with you, Craig. What's on your mind?
I point out stuff I'm seeing on the internet as people react to things that are going on in the culture and the court system, and, you know, in terms of laws changing, the attack on the school system and all that. And I think it's funny how people think that their experience is the typical experience. And I don't think there's a such thing as a typical experience. A lot of times you hear people talk about, we weren't thinking about X, Y, Z at a certain age. You may not have been, but the person in front of you, next to you in class may have been, right? You might not have to worry about abuse. You might not have to worry about sexual identity. You might have to worry about bullying, but somebody else in your class may have. Like, I see it from my peers when they speak on things, and they assume just because they didn't have to worry about something that the rest of us in the class didn't. Man, we were in the same classroom, dog. I know differently. You know what I'm saying? You might have been too naive to notice certain things, or you might have been so street smart that you were exposed to certain things. And I even see it because I've been in the classroom, K through 12 classroom, for going on 2 decades now. Sometimes I see some of my students from years ago on social media now talking or speaking on an issue. And for instance, they talk, one of them was making a comment on how he was like, we didn't have to think about X, Y, Z in terms of sexuality and this, and that, and the other. When the irony of it is, I remember a girl from that same 3rd period class as him is now a boy. Like, what you mean? And she was struggling with it then, or he, or whatever. It was a struggle for that person then. So it's kind of naive to assume that your experience is a typical experience. There's no such thing as a typical experience. And that's kind of been on the forefront of my mind.
All right. Brother Mo, what's been on your mind?
Joe Biden and his lack of activity, man. I couldn't be more annoyed with Joe Biden, to be honest with you. Build Back Better still hasn't been passed. The student loans, he promised $10,000. That still hasn't been accomplished. His response in Afghanistan was horrific. Roe versus Wade is about to get overturned. And what is Biden doing about it? Like, they're literally just sitting there and watching all of these things happen, and they're doing nothing about it. And the Democrats are about to get steamrolled, I think, in these midterms. I just don't see how they're able to survive this. Even things that, you know, are beyond his control, such as inflation, for example, which I don't is beyond his control. He's still in charge. The majority of Americans still blame him for that. They're still going to blame Democrats for that. Craig referenced the educational system. We're wasting all this time talking about critical race theory and all these places getting rid of them and eliminating certain textbooks that they feel bring up race. And all of the talk in education has come now down to critical race theory. What a bunch of bullshit that is. Instead of focusing on the inequalities in education. Like, they're talking about critical race theory, which should actually be facts. Like, let's call it what it is. It's not a theory. Something factual can't be called theory. That's the factual history of America. It can't be called theory. That's one. Two, that's all they're focusing on now. They're not worried about the inequalities that students of color face, that students with socioeconomic backgrounds that are challenged face. They're not talking about that anymore. We're talking about eliminating the talks about facts in education. And what is Biden doing about this? Voting rights are being repealed. We're going, it's like we've built a time machine and we're going back 50 years.
Yeah.
And this clown, like today, he's like, I'm not willing to use the filibuster to codify Roe versus Wade. When the hell are you willing to do anything? Like, dog, his inability or his lack of will to do what is necessary to accomplish the things that the people that voted him into office want to see done is just appalling. Like, it's just shocking.
All right, well, I appreciate you all for sharing. We'll take a break and we'll be right back.
You are listening to Unsolicited Genius.
The legend, oh legend, the legend, oh legend, the legend, oh legend, the legend, oh. I was born a legend, I'ma die a legend. Yeah, I was born a legend. PM. Unsolicited genius.